Okay, so this video is kind of like twofold. Got a 2010 Volkswagen EOS. I was called in here because we had to replace a easy entry module, which sits underneath the seat. Of course, water damaged, like every other Volkswagen ever made. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about, before you replace a module, what do you do? One of the first things that you want to do, and now this one's already done, but I'm just going to show you how we got there, is whether you're using VCDS, whether you're using, I don't care what you're using. In this case here, AutoLogic, I'm going to show you because it's a, there's a little bit, couple more steps here, but it's also very detailed. ECU information report, and then what you're going to do is you're going to hit select all. This is where we performed on all ECUs. Hit OK. And then you have this screen that comes up over here. Now this will tell you that you have extended module information right there. And if you notice, it's not actually highlighted. If I hit that little arrow over here on the side, which I will, you'll notice that it actually turns a brighter white. That's highlighted. I'm turning it off and I'll turn it back on again. If I wanted to have the extended module information and the codes, I would sit there and click on codes and it would add all those on there. So when I do this now and I come in here and I hit the report, it'll build up a report for me, and I'll be able to go in there and actually look and see what all the original coding was on each and every module. Coding is important because if we look at one of them, I'll go back out for a moment here, and if we look at something like a common failure, ABS, if we had one that was still able to talk and we went in here and hit manual coding, this is our coding that we have here. If you install a new module and you don't have this saved, it's a mother to try to go in there and do the coding unless you're using Otis, which I can use Otis. I prefer to not use Otis. I think it's a very clunky program for the most part, and I'm tired of doing updates. But anyhow, this right here, what we would use is our hex numbers, the 514B 600 Apple 49230001, blah blah, and just continue on there, and you write all those down into a big sequence, and that's going to become your long coding. So short codings, those are pretty easy. I'll show you the one like the one that we did here on this car, which was right here, driver's side boarding assistance. They all have weird names, but if we went in there and we looked at coding for that and we did manual coding, well, there it is. Your coding is 2. That's what it was. I still needed it, but that's one way to do it. No access code required on this one. So if I go back again, I'll show you guys where you get that information. And after you've saved it, what will happen is you'll get a report and it'll tell you that you can e-print it to yourself. When you get it to the e-print, you'll also have a saved copy that will sit down in here. And when you click on that, these are your list of all the codings that you have open. And this one right here, which, let's see, is that full screen? Yeah, that's full screen. You'll get this. This is your entire coding list. That's the engine, long coding, transmission coding. So in this case here, it would only be looking at software code of 20. Software code, yeah, on that one, it just say 20. This one here, though, brake electronics, will have the long coding in there, steering assist, all just like we saw earlier. And you want to have a copy of this. You want to have a saved copy of this. If you were to put it in an ABS module and it was not, and you didn't save the coding, or you didn't have a complete list of the coding from every module in the car, what happens is some of the other modules, sometimes when you plug in a new module, some of the coding will change in other modules, which is a real pain in the butt. But if you have this list, at least you can go back there and put it back into its original coding. So very, very important to do. But at least you get to be able to save a copy. You always want to do this before replacing any module. Some scan tools, the VCDS does do it automatically there along with the code scan. They can get more in depth, they can get less in depth. All depends on what they're actually doing. As far as the debug level, it's not really supposed to be back and forth here. Let me see, where am I? Do I still have it open? Well, in this case here is a report that was made for this exact same car. And in this case, in the auto scan, I have my debug level set to 2. So some things I will get a little bit more information on. And you'll see that there's going to be a ton of codes in here. But in this case here, I'll have component ID information as well. and my coating is in there as well. So I did it with both. I wanted to make sure that the Autologic was capable of doing this, and it more than sure is. I did the coating with it. Once I had it plugged in, that's all I really needed. So, but I wanted to make sure that we could do our long coatings, short coatings, and again, very happy with the tool. I want to get to the point where I can have all my European on one tool. That's my goal. This is nice, but this requires me to sit there and bring in an extra laptop, extra cable, bring it out there, and sometimes have to jump in and out of wikis and in order to try to get some of the service information. Here, you know, sit there and press a button and I'm getting my assistance. I'll just come in here, hit my gear, and hit this little rescue button right here, and I'll get somebody to jump in and say, hey, come on in here and save my butt, because I'm not really sure where I'm at, and then have somebody remote in, and that can be a big help, as you guys have seen in the past if you have seen my earlier videos. But anyhow, that's it, just a quick little video, and once again, you know, I'm very happy with this tool, very happy with that tool. You know, I just want to give you guys all the options that you have out there. Have a good one.